Hi, I'm here with poet Carla Schwartz, and we're going to chat about Umbilical and how he leaves, but we'll start with a reading.
Okay, umbilical. I dreamt my son was safe downstairs. Outside my sleep, his friend appeared. The cat woke too and slinked behind the boy's bare feet with muted whines. The loud knocking shattered my wake, but seconds passed before I could make out what he meant. This best sentinel, by he's not breathing. The needle, the fentanyl. And this next poem is called How He Leaves. His cat slinks the corners of his room, confused. His slender fingers cradle the ghost of a needle. In even intervals, his mother pounds his chest against despair, against shouts, between wails. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. When we found these poems in the stack, I think we're just staggered by the way it captures a moment and that intense emotion in so little space on the page. I was curious about the form of umbilical. There's this sort of rhyme that comes in. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that rhyme plays into the poem? Do you see it as a controlling function, or was that something you planned or something that just kind of happened organically?
It was somewhat organic, although I was taking a workshop while I first drafted this poem. And so I think I had the idea of putting rhyme in my poem from the start. And as a poet, I generally don't rhyme, but I have sound happening in my poems. But when I was younger, like 8 years old, and I used to write poetry, all my poems rhymed. So I actually have it in me to potentially write rhyming poems, although I'm always a little leery about it. And this one, I did feel that it could control a little bit the thought of what I was trying to describe. And you could call this a persona poem because I went inside of the voice of somebody I know who experienced this, and a dear friend. And yeah, it just I felt like I needed to capture this. And I think when I first wrote it, it was all in a kind of a block, and then I kind of pulled it out a little bit.
Wonderful. I mean, I think the choices really work. It's a fantastic poem, very powerful. Out of curiosity, are these poems that you shared with a friend, or are they something where you wrote them to kind of process?
I wrote them more to process. I share a lot with her in terms of the feelings, especially what she has gone through, and how I can possibly help her. But now this is a few years ago, so the grief is never going to go away, but it's definitely evolving. And so no, I stay away because I don't want to touch the pain that closely with her. But I feel that this is not something that only one person experiences, and that's really why I was driven to write it.
I'm really glad you did. I mean, I'm glad that you sent them to us. I think it's um, an experience that touches a lot of people's lives, but not something I feel like I've seen in poems before. That kind of idea of that experience and tapping into not I think we see more poems sort of from the perspective of the addict and not necessarily from people who are impacted by that experience. And so I thought that choice to occupy that voice and share that narrative was so important and so well executed.
Thank you. Thank you, Virginia. That is just touches me. Thank you so much.
um, one of the questions that I've been asking all the writers, because we're based out of a college and a lot of our students interact with the journal, was just what is your writing process like in general? Would you mind talking a little bit about that?
No, no. I don't think I have one that I could say is always the same, you know. So each poem is different. I have in the past taken some workshops that have given me, you know, that are generative. And this particular poem came out of one that was. The next poem that I read, How He Leaves, was not out of that workshop and probably not out of a workshop necessarily. But so I do often work with prompts, you know, from one way that I find one way or another. And I have attended a workshop locally where I live, which now, of course, locally means on the internet. And it's a weekly workshop where we are prompted to model other poems, you know, that
Hmm.
and but not directly modeling them, but an idea from a group of poems that might have some similarities, and see if you can sort of take something from those similarities and write your own poem. And I have found that useful, just to sort of, first of all, sit down once a week at least and kind of write something. And secondly, yeah, give me some ideas about where I might start sometimes, you know. And it's funny, this during this pandemic, I feel after all these months, my life is kind of calmed and slowed down. And now it's like, am I interacting with people at all? I don't know, you know, and not very many. And my life is kind of, you know, it feels like it's narrowing in some ways. So it's helpful to kind of punch an idea out to figure out what I might want to write about and how I might want to tackle it.
Was there anything else you'd like to tell us about the poems? I know I didn't ask specifically about How He Leaves or a question specific to it, but I think a lot of what you said feels tied to that also. Um,
Yes.
but anything else you want to tell us about your writing or projects that you're working on?
Well, I guess two things you might want to know. It's probably in my bio, but my social media handle is at CB99 videos. That's Charlie Brown 99 videos. So I'm not, you know, as active as everybody, but I am on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. And my latest YouTube video I just posted last night, which is a piece with piano and lyrics that are really, some people consider poetry. And the piece is called I'm an Alien to a Policeman. And it's avant-garde music with singing. And then I took video from the internet that was Creative Commons and put it together. And it's very much like a social justice, Black Lives Matter piece. And it's really about, it's very contemporary, even though I wrote this piece actually like 20 years ago and I've been performing it. I finally put it into a video and then just posted this last night. And I think it's really interesting. So you might enjoy looking for CB99 videos. I'm an alien for a policeman, to a policeman. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. That's all.